Now, some breaking news from the United States. American media, including CNN, are reporting that Kamala Harris has chosen as her vice presidential running mate Tim Walz, who's the governor of Minnesota, to be her running mate in the presidential election in November, just 3 months away. There was a lot of speculation about the various contenders, who it might be, a lot of talk. It might have been Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, to help her win key swing states. But it looks like, according to American media, and we haven't had it confirmed yet, that it will be the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz who's going to be her running mate. And Kamala Harris really choosing a progressive policy champion and a plain speaker from America's heartland to help win over rural white voters. That's what many analysts are saying. Let's get the thoughts of Brian Stelter, who's a US journalist and former media correspondent for CNN, who can join us now. Well, it looks like it is Tim Walz as the running mate. Is that a surprise to you? And what do you make of that choice?
Walz was the favorite for the last couple of days. He was the betting favorite as more and more people were watching him on cable news and learning more about him. But now is an important opportunity for Walz to introduce himself to the American people writ large. And that's going to begin later today with a big rally in Philadelphia. I would venture to say that about a month ago, most Americans had barely ever heard of this Minnesota governor. Maybe they had seen a video or two, a clip or two, but he was mostly an unknown Midwestern governor. And all of that changed once Kamala Harris rose to the top of the ticket and began auditioning these candidates. There's been a very public competition on television for the past few weeks, and Walz stood out during that competition with his zingers, with his attack lines against Donald Trump, but also with his folksy, friendly, fatherly demeanor. He is 60 years old, a native of Nebraska, currently the governor of Minnesota, and as you said, well known for getting things done, for actually enacting a progressive agenda despite having a divided government in Minnesota. So the message from the Democrats today is we're going to get stuff done. We know how to govern. We know how to be normal and moderate. And of course, they're going to try to create a contrast to the people they call weird. Walz is the one who was on cable news saying Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they're a bunch of weirdos.
There had been a lot of speculation it could be Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, which is obviously one of the key battleground states. He's very popular there as the governor. Why do you think she would have not decided to go with Josh Shapiro?
It does seem that Shapiro and Walz were the two finalists here. Perhaps Mark Kelly, Senator of Arizona, was the third. We know they were all brought in over the weekend for final interviews. Let's think about the calculation this way. Josh Shapiro, Tim Walz, Mark Kelly, all of these men are going to work hard between now and Election Day to elect Kamala Harris. So whether Josh Shapiro is the VP candidate or whether he's just the Pennsylvania governor who's going to be on the campaign trail for Harris, he is going to put all of his muscle behind Harris. Ultimately, though, we don't know why Harris went with Walz instead of Shapiro. I hope there will be reporting about that in the hours to come. She had a lot of great choices, though, a lot of great options. If you think about what's happened in the past 6 weeks, it's crazy to think about. 6 weeks ago, Joe Biden was at the top of the ticket, and he was about to debate Donald Trump. Kamala Harris was still a relatively obscure vice president who had no chance of becoming president. Well, here we are, 6 weeks later. The entire race has changed. Harris now at the top of the ticket. Now she is the one choosing her running mate and introducing him to the American people. And as a result of this incredible process, I think Americans have learned about a lot of the Democratic governors and senators who they honestly didn't very well know up until now. So ultimately, Walz, we'll find out her rationale, but this is going to be really valuable for the Democrats in securing Minnesota, one of those key swing states.